Michael Fallon in January, saying he had fallen below the high standards that we require of the armed forces. He stepped down as Defense Secretary on Wednesday. Peter Nichols, Reuters, London. Britain's Defense Secretary, Michael Fallon, has resigned over allegations about his past conduct, amid a growing outcry over claims of sexual harassment or inappropriate behaviour by British politicians. Mr. Fallon's departure from his ministerial post was announced by the office of Prime Minister Theresa May, who released a formal letter of resignation on Wednesday night. A number of allegations have surfaced about MPs in recent days, including some about my previous conduct, wrote Mr. Fallon, referring to members of Parliament. Many of these have been false, but I accept in the past I have fallen below the high standards that we require of the armed forces that I have the honour to represent, he said, adding that he had reflected on my position and I am therefore resigning as Defense Secretary. In response, Mrs. May said she appreciated the characteristically serious manner in which Mr. Fallon had considered his position and paid tribute to a long and impressive ministerial career, serving in 4 departments of state under 4 prime ministers. Mr. Fallon had served as Defense Secretary since July 2014 and has not resigned his seat as a lawmaker. Earlier this week he admitted that he had put his hand on the knee of a female journalist, Julia Hartley-Brewer, in 2002. She has accepted his apology, and made light of the incident in recent days, posting a picture of her knees on Twitter, and writing that they were still intact. Full medical check-up this morning and, yes, both of my knees are still intact. Get a grip, people. Although not on my knee, obviously. Pic.twitter.com 5LK1S Julia Hartley-Brewer at Julia1 October 31, 2017. On Wednesday night, Ms. Hartley-Brewer reacted with surprise at the resignation, but added, "I doubt that my knee was the reason." Some British political journalists, including ITV's political editor, Robert Peston, reported that Mr. Fallon may have quit because he feared that other, similar accusations might come to light. Sources say Fallon went because what he did with at Julia 1 was not a one-off and others he flirted with may have been less understanding than her. Though no one has yet come forward to complain about him, Robert Peston at Peston November 1, 2017 asked whether he feared more might emerge. Mr. Fallon told the BBC on Wednesday the culture has changed over the years. What might have been acceptable 10 years ago is clearly not acceptable now. Parliament now has to look at itself. Mr. Fallon's resignation is a setback to Mrs. May, who will lose from her top ministerial team one of its most reliable media performers as negotiations on Britain's withdrawal from the European Union are making little progress. It could also force her to reshuffle her cabinet sooner than expected, a politically difficult move, although she may opt for a minimalist reorganisation of her top team. No replacement for Mr. Fallon was announced on Wednesday night. Worse for Mrs. May, this might not be the last such resignation. An investigation has been opened into the behaviour of another minister, Mark Garnier, after he admitted that he had asked a female member of his staff to buy sex toys. In the aftermath of the allegations of sexual harassment and rape against the American movie producer Harvey Weinstein, many additional complaints are coming to light, and a list of more than 30 lawmakers from Mrs. May's Conservative Party who are said to have behaved inappropriately has been circulating online, with names redacted. The claims vary from serious allegations of sexual harassment to indiscretions like marital infidelities. But like the world of entertainment, politics is a profession in which senior individuals, mainly men, have considerable power over those trying to establish a career. And even some less serious allegations suggest an unacceptable degree of sexism and complacency about inappropriate behaviour within the British Parliament. On Saturday, Michael Gove, the Environment Secretary, prompted angry complaints after joking that being interviewed by the BBC presenter John Humphreys was like entering Mr. Weinstein's bedroom and hoping you emerge with your dignity intact. Mr. Gove issued an unreserved apology. Meanwhile, the former Work and Pensions Secretary, Stephen Crabb, has apologised for sexual chatter with a 19-year-old who applied for a job in his office. The opposition Labour Party has been implicated too. A Labour activist, Bex Bailey, told the BBC that she suffered a serious sexual assault at a party in 2011 and that, when she later asked for advice from a senior staff member, she was advised that formally reporting what had occurred could damage her career prospects. Last week, Labour also suspended one of its lawmakers, Jared O'Mara, while it investigates allegations that he made a series of misogynistic and homophobic comments. Some lawmakers have denied accusations made against them, including Damian Green, one of Mrs. May's closest allies, who has described allegations of inappropriate behavior toward a female activist as completely false. A version of this article appears in print on November 2, 2017, on page A4 of the New York edition with the headline "Britain's Defense Secretary Quits Over Accusations of Inappropriate Conduct."